那 Jody 你弄好以后，我们大概50分开始放背板跟放音乐哦。好，
好的。
Sorry.
Kelly，听得到吗？
嗨，等一下，你等我一下，老板再说话。
好。
Ariel，刚刚那个 Kelly 是说 Daniel 红是 Senior Officer 嘛，对不对？
对。
那个 Kelly 老板说要你开场，然后介绍他，因为他有好消息跟大家分享。
好啊，
他讲完以后再跟你再继续这样子。那今天也还是一样，再介绍一下今天的 forum 的名字，然后就是说我们今天的活动非常的精彩，对，然后首先我们是先请执行长的来跟我们说几句话，这样。那个 Aaron 你有说什么？
那不然，因为原本是我会先开始讲话，就是原本是我会介绍老板，那就我这边开始，然后老板讲完，就让，因为我们的顺序是 Kevin 会介绍第一个讲者。
哦，
对，那如果 Daniel 有来的话，就变成老板讲完话，然后我们介绍 Daniel 这样子吗？然后他也会讲话吗？
他不会讲话。
他不会讲话哦。
老板上线。
那 Kevin 还是你介绍第一个讲者的时候一起讲，就是讲到 Daniel 呢？
好啊，好啊。
因为如果他没有要讲话的话。
好啊，好啊，好。那我就请大家 welcome him 就好了。
对啊。
好。
Dr. Nado, I will introduce you later. And then Kevin will introduce the first speaker.
Okay, so when I finish, I just give it to Kevin, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then, will you introduce all three speakers today?
Yes.
Okay, good.
我会 introduce 第二个。
Oh, okay.
那个 Kevin， 我们可不可以就是开场的时候，你先讲一下这个 forum 的名字，然后介绍 Ariel。
好啊，好啊。
他再开始讲。就是说我们今天的 MC， 昨天是 Sonia 跟我，那今天是由我跟 Ariel， 那我们现在请 Ariel 来开始。
好啊，好啊，好啊，可以，就是我们昨天的那个模式再来一次。
对。
好，
因为可能有人他昨天没有参加，然后他今天参加的话，他就比较有那种感觉。那大概是这样。
好啊。
还是回音音响很大。你们听 Kevin 的声音都 OK 吗
Yeah.
可以啊。
好像 bass 特别重，不知道为什么。
真的吗？
唱 K 你有换电脑吗？今天？
我今天用笔电。
哦。
对。
But I won't say, I'll say something about that Charlie will contact them today with Visa cable numbers, right? And instructions, but we don't know yet when they can arrange for their flights. We'll be talking to them about that later, right?
Just as last email, we told them.
Yeah.
They will start to book their flight after receive our email for instructions.
Yeah. Okay. But when will you be sending that?
Possibly Monday when we know the arrival time for the hotel arrangement, etc. We will have a meeting this afternoon, and I hope
Okay.
we can have some details about that.
Okay, all right. I'll just tell them to wait for that Charlie will be sending them something today, she said,
Mhm.
and that you will be sending them further instructions on Monday.
Okay.
Good?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday will be there Sunday.
Yeah, oh, okay. There's Sunday. Okay. All right. Did Charlie revise her estimate on when you might be able to bring them?
If she receives the visa cable number by this week, then September 15 to October 20 to September 25th is the original estimated time. But we will make it more official after I confirm again about the process. And we will include that in our email next week.
Okay, but now you're thinking between 15th and 25th, they will be
Yes.
flying to Taiwan.
That's
Okay,
our original estimation.
right. Okay,
兄弟，你可以放背板，你可以开始准备，因为已经8:50的。背景音乐小声就可以，谢谢。你们会不会觉得很大声？Dr. Joe, you are free to step in and say something to the speaker if necessary.
okay,
Because they are all special speakers.
yeah. Okay. I don't know them.
The first one was introduced
By
to
Daniel. Yeah.
And Dr. Mazzara. And the second one was from NTU, and he was one of my boss.
Yeah, you sent me your notes about him.
Notes.
Yeah,
And,
about competitiveness. You sent me some notes. Yeah.
Okay, and the third one, he's quite famous, and Qi Bolin 基金会, Qi Bolin passed away a few years ago, and that's his son. They have a foundation.
Looks great. Great program.
Good morning and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fulbright Taiwan Exploration Forum again. I'm Kevin, the English teaching advisor.
Hello, everyone. I am Ariel, the administrative specialist. So Kevin and I will be your MCs for today. And at the very beginning, I would like to introduce Dr. Nadeau to give us some words.
All right, good morning. Today we'll have our second day of the Taiwan Forum. I hope that you enjoyed yesterday. I think that all the speakers made you even more eager to come to Taiwan, and you'll find that to be the case today as well, as we learn about Taiwan's special characteristics and a wonderful character. As promised, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has granted special entry for our grantees to come to Taiwan. So there are two people or two emails that you should be looking for in the next couple of days. Our visa specialist, Charlie Jung, she's going to be working hard today. Today's Friday. I guess it's Thursday night in the US. She's going to be working through the day, assembling visa cable numbers and instructions for you so that you can then apply for your visa at your local or the closest TICO office. You should also look for an email from the ETA team that will be giving you very specific instructions about the process, about arranging for your flights and all of that. So Charlie's going to be working today. I think that you may very well receive her email tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then on Sunday, your Sunday. And the same for the ETA team. Look for something from them on Sunday that will set you up and give you all the things that you need to know. We'll do our best to anticipate any questions that you might have. Of course, feel free to reach out to us, but those instructions we hope will be comprehensive so that you'll know what to do. And we're very excited. Hope that you are as well. And yesterday and today's forum is just a teaser for what you can expect to experience and learn when you come to Taiwan. So that's all for me. Welcome again to second day of our forum, and I look forward, as much as hopefully you do, to our set of speakers today. Okay, should I hand this over to Kevi now?
Thank you, Dr. Nadeau. So it's the good news. Yeah, so today we also have another special guest here in our forum. This is the Daniel Hong. He's the senior officer from Penghu, and he's very supportive for our program in Penghu. So let's give him a round of applause. Okay, so as you all know, that Taiwan is a small island surrounded by oceans. Therefore, ocean education is very important. So even some schools near the coastline focus on environmental protection. So the next speaker is Miss Donna Kunzik. She's a picture book writer, and she's also an ocean protection and education advocate. So let's welcome Miss Donna Kunzik.
Thank you, Kevi. I got on early. I want to try and share my screen if I can. I have some slides and my book, and let's see if I can get this. I think I did it. Let's see if this, make it bigger. Okay, let me see how I get this to the top. Give me 1 second. Okay, so, well, first, I'd like to thank Senior Executive Daniel Hung, Dr. Shu Feng Chen, Ms. Kelly Chang, and Mr. Jai Kai Kevi, for inviting me to make this presentation. My thanks also to Dr. Ali Mazzara, a recent senior Fulbright to Taiwan, for introducing me to Senior Executive Officer Hung. I am really honored to be a part of your wonderful program and this academic circle of hardworking individuals to exchange ideas. And I hope that I can provide something of value with your precious time today. So thank you for having me. I understand you are all ETAs here in Taiwan. And so the importance of the ocean and marine science in Taiwan, due to that, I was asked to share my book and the story behind it, as it may be a helpful and relevant resource for you as you teach in Taiwan. So this is Peter the Pteropod, my story that I developed. And a pteropod is a snail-like fish that is a calcium carbonate creature, and they are getting seriously impacted by the acidification in the ocean. They come in a lot of different shapes, but for the purposes of appealing to children, I created it to look most like a regular snail. I wrote my book to help children change the way they look at their environment. It's written in a poetic form. And the reason I did this was because poetry versus prose is much easier to memorize. And I thought the message would be better understood if kids could repeat or memorize some of the contents in the pages. So I did this for children in the United States. And I know it would be great for children learning English in Taiwan, as the poetry is easier for them to memorize. So let me tell you a little bit about how this project evolved and about my inspiration for doing this. I am an American author, and I studied psychology with some detail on language development. I did a project on ocean acidification to satisfy my university degree requirements. And after I completed the science, I did a project. I decided I had to do something to raise awareness or thwart any further acidification of our oceans. So what I did is I combined what I love, which is to write, and I combined writing with the critical discovery I learned regarding the ocean. I really felt that the older generation is not doing what they need to do to address this issue. So I thought that by targeting a younger population, it might be a better idea. Younger children tend to learn things, and as they grow, they learn more. So I thought they could begin with this and then scaffold that learning as they go. So I first had to research whether or not there were any other books like this, as I didn't need to reinvent the wheel. So to my surprise, there were no books on the topic of ocean acidification for young children. And I wondered if it was because the science is so young. It's only about 30 or 35 years old compared to other sciences like chemistry. So there were no children's stories that you could relate to younger kids other than some technical books. And I really wanted to get this message in their heads as soon as possible. So I decided to write something that would appeal to very young children. So after my science project, which I'll show you in a bit, I took a walk along the beach to see if what I was learning was actually occurring, and I wanted to investigate it firsthand. So I wanted to see if I could find any evidence at all. And I found this beautiful shell, and you can see what is happening to it. This is the acidity that is creating these little damaging holes into the shell. And if these holes become as big as this one, this animal will not survive. And we know what happens if we lose one species. The food chain up the ladder becomes a very serious threat. So after I saw this really confirmed everything I was learning on the subject. And this also compelled me, where I felt that I had no choice but to participate in being a solution by preparing children, the next generation, to hand the torch, so to speak, so they could learn what I learned, only take it to the next level. And so I created this book that incorporates a message about ocean acidification. It encourages engagement. It inspires empathy. And hopefully it will be the stimulus or the impetus that translates into action. We really need to reverse this trend. So I was trying to inspire some kind of compassion and empathy, and those are the two main ingredients that usually translate into action. And that was my purpose. So my goal was to help children understand and remember the message, but for your purposes, it might be a very effective and fun opportunity to teach about helping the ocean and also teach English at the same time. I wanted to mention some other thing that I wanted to address the fact that I grew up in New York on Long Island, and we share many similarities with Taiwan in that we're both surrounded by water. So we have many similar concerns. So as you can see, Long Island is completely surrounded by water. We can get to the States from a bridge or a tunnel, but basically you're halfway around the world and we have the same problems. So we really are closer than we think, and it is a world problem. So, and not to mention the economic impact. Ocean acidification has profound consequences that occur, like if the fishing industry gets affected and tourism gets affected and all these other economic problems occur, we need to address the subject. And this is just another reason why I decided to write this book, basically because my home is surrounded by water, but it is a worldwide problem. So I wanted to do three things today. I wanted to share the story behind the book. I would like to read the book and show you some examples so you can get an idea of how it might be used or adapted by you. And I'd like to discuss some of the science lessons I learned that you might want to incorporate into your teaching. So the story behind this whole book was basically that I had to satisfy my university degree, but I chose to study ocean acidification. And when I realized the negative impact carbon was having on the ocean and the creatures beneath the sea, I learned the actual science behind it, the chemistry behind it. So when I learned what happened when carbon is absorbed into seawater, I imagined a red cherry ice pop dipped in warm water and watch the diffusion occur. We see the red dissolve and it muddies this clear water. So this is what's happening to our oceans with invisible carbon emissions, and it's occurring throughout the world. But unlike this cherry ice pop, we can't see the carbon emissions in the ocean. And I think that might be the reason that it's hard to convince some people around the world that this is occurring. If the ocean started turning red, like a cherry ice pop water, I think they would pay attention. But I know there are many people who understand what is happening. There are too many who do not, and far too many who do not take any action to remediate it. So if we can imagine the fossil fuels being absorbed like a vinegar flavored cherry ice pop when people burn coal, natural gas, gasoline, and oil, this is how we have to think about it. It's no longer pure water, it's chemically altered. And I might not mind drinking a cherry ice water, but I don't want to drink vinegar water, and neither do the creatures in the ocean. So the actual science is, this is the actual chemistry. So, and I don't want to get too technical because I know you have a lot of things to do, but this is part of the reason I wrote the book, because it is what I learned and it's the most simplified way I could explain it. But according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA for short, they're the most prestigious scientists on this subject. Once carbon is absorbed into water, seawater, it creates a series of chemical reactions, resulting in increased hydrogen ions, causing the water to become more acidic and resulting in less carbonate ions, which animals like coral, pteropods, and mussels require to maintain healthy shells. So I took this other experiment, which you can all do in your classes if you wanted. I decided to take some mussel shells, and I did this at home while I was studying this class. And I put a mussel shell in water, and I used a pool kit just to determine what the pH balance was. And the mussel shell was fine in water. This was a pH balance of 7.5, which is basic. It is not acidic. And then I added vinegar to this jar with another mussel shell. And I tried to create an acidic environment, sort of like the ocean. And the shell began to fray. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little piece of a sheen beginning to separate from the shell. The part that really inspired me the most was within 5 days, the shell could not maintain its composition. And we see the fraying here, and a piece of it simply just broke apart. You're finding this in the ocean with coral and things like that. So it really, this made me gasp. And this is when I decided I am going to definitely write this book. I will explain to children, I will educate them and inspire them to do something. So I wrote the book, and one of the things I do when I visit schools or libraries, when I read this book, I created, oh, this is what I wanted to show you too, I'm sorry. This, worked my computer, sorry. So here we see the shell broken off, and that was my at-home experiment. And this is real life, a shell with you see pieces broken apart. So that really emphasized and confirmed everything I had studied. But this is another thing that I do. Okay, so after I read this story, I don't want them only to hear it. I want something to happen afterwards. And a lot of times the children are too young and they have no control over fossil fuels or any kind of carbon emissions. They don't pay their bills. They're taking care of their little people. So I created this coloring book page, and I asked the children when I leave to help me paint Pete Skeeter's shell healthy. After they hear the story, they know he needs help, and I asked them to paint his shell healthy. I felt like for their level and for their age, it was a pro-social activity that they can enjoy and do to make the animal feel better. It's all the power they had, and I wanted them to do an active, something active to help this animal. And one of the best rewards for me was during the pandemic, when children were online learning, a teacher sent me a picture of her student doing homework. And in the background was a fully colored page portraying Pete Skeeter with a new healthy shell. And it was a sign that that message resonated. And it was a reciprocal kind of inspiration, because it inspired him to do it and inspired me to consider encouraging this message to more and more schools. So another scientific fact you'll see illustrated in a very simple way is we know the ocean is warming. So the book is written in a poetic form, but I included these balloons. As you know, as English teachers, these balloons convey emotional impact. They have a little impact. They can convey different messages, and they're really good to just converse new feelings. It's all about the empathy. So here we see the two pteropods talking. He says, "Hi, Hans Peter, it's getting hot in here. Hey, Pete, why do you think that is?" So this is to raise an awareness that the kids are like, yeah, the ocean is getting hot. I know. And if they don't, they will eventually. So on this next slide, I wanted to show you. Of course, I had to add a jet, a truck, a bus, and a dolphin. Well, transportation is one of the largest producers of carbon emissions. They produce about 29% of our carbon emissions. So I had to include that so that children can learn. These are some of the things that are the problem in our world. And I also thought it would be a little extra to have this dolphin, who's very sad, jump out of the water. They're one of the smartest creatures in the sea. So I thought that would be impactful. Now this page, I'm not going to read it now because I'll read the book in a minute, but this page is really the science. You'll see the smoke coming out of a smokestack, and I put the word CO2 coming out, but this correlates with the actual chemistry about when carbon mixes with water and creates ions. It makes the shell fray, as we saw in my at-home experiment. We saw the seam fraying from the edge of the shell, and pieces detach from me. So this is literally the easiest way to convey the science that I learned, the actual chemistry, without getting into the hydrogen ions, the calcium carbonate, bicarbonates, and basically that is the story behind why I wrote the book. But now I'd like to read the book. It'll take about 5 minutes, and I hope you like my story. Okay, so it's Peter the pteropod. As I mentioned, a couple of the creatures are named Peter, but one's Peter the pteropod, the other is Pete Skeeter, another one is Hans Peter of Sem. So I might have to use, I'll use the actual book. So Peter the pteropod was a snail-like little fish. He wore a shell as hard as a dish. It protected his body so he could swim with his friends, but his favorite to play with was Hans Peter of Sem. So I don't know if you can see this because I have I don't know if I can move this. Okay. So here we see where the two friends are meeting, and he says, "Hi, Hans Peter, it's getting hot in here. Hey, Pete, why do you think that is?" Well, this is to raise the awareness for the kids so that they know something is happening. Peter the pteropod and Hans Peter of Sem swam to Papua New Guinea to visit a friend. His name was Pete Skeeter, a mollusk of sorts, a fun mate to play with, who was also great at sports. But they were surprised to find him looking so unwell. What was wrong with Pete Skeeter? They just couldn't tell. "I don't feel well. What is happening to my shell?" When I read this, a lot of times the children will express all kinds of empathy. You hear, "Oh," and they feel sorry for the character. And that is a good thing because we want them to feel bad and do something about it. So I showed you this before, but I wanted them to know what causes the carbon emissions. Skeeter was frail. His shell began to fray. The ocean absorbed too much carbon, the dolphins would say. When humans burn coal and drive buses, jets, and trucks, the emissions they make are just too much. And we have this sad little dolphin jumping out of the ocean, yelling, "Just too much." And over here is As I explained, this is the actual science, the chemistry. When carbon mixes with water and creates ions, you see, it makes my shell fray and detach from me. I have no place to hide. My shell is my home. What can I do? I feel so alone. And he's looking back very sad, saying, come here, shell. Now that has to inspire a child to want to do something. Now on this page, we have solutions. We need to plant trees, more mangroves and grass to combat those ions that make us fragile as glass. And on land, scientists met. We have to change, scientists say. We are hurting the creatures under the bay. I saw a pteropod whose shell began to fray. People must pay attention today, today, today. And here's a very angry scientist saying, what will it take for people to learn? This usually makes the kids say, oh, like, you know, they want to help. So we really need to target the younger generation. Here's more solutions. Start riding bikes, drive two to a car, stop burning carbon, stop using straws, recycle everything that comes in a jar or a can, plant trees and seeds across this land. Then slowly but surely, people began to change all wasteful habits in exchange for the health of the oceans, the land, and the sea, to protect the world's future for you, Pete, and me. And because of those changes, Pete Skeeter was cured, as was his whole family. I feel great, super speedy. Now, coral and mollusks and clownfish too can swim and play games, even go to school. Hey guys, humans are paying attention. And as it turns out, the earth began to cool because people on land use less fossil fuels. So that's the end of the story. And I thought that there's too many adults in the world that don't know about this subject or don't care or unaware. And I wanted to make it so that when they read to children, if they're reading to their children, I included a glossary so they could learn and properly explain it to their kids. So I guess, let me see. Basically, that's the story, why I created it and what I hope to do with it. And I just hope that it was something you might think is useful. In closing, I would specifically like to thank Dr. Ali Mazzara for the formal introduction to the incredible professionals who organized this forum. Thank you again, Senior Executive Officer Hung, Dr. Xu Feng Chen, Kelly Cheng, and Jai Kai Kevi Yang. Thank you so much. I welcome any questions or conversation. Everybody's muted, so I can't hear anybody.
So is there any questions for Donna?
Thank you.
If you have questions, you can just unmute your microphone.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Janai. And I just had a question about your choice to focus on speaking specifically to children. So did you do that because it was your it was required for your degree, or like, or you were just interested in teaching the children?
My degree required that I took this science class that inspired me to write the book. When I did all the research and I did the experiment and walked on the beach, all those things, I really felt, and I spoke to a lot of adults about what I was learning, and some of them simply don't believe this is happening. Right. And including my own mother. And when I told her, this is my science experiment, look, And I brought her around, and she loves everything I'm doing now, and she's an advocate now. But I found like a lot of adults, and I felt like maybe we're wasting our time on adults. We need to target children because they can learn this, how simple it is to change things, and then possibly in the next grades as they grow, scaffold that learning and learn more, maybe the actual chemistry, and then be smart enough in the next grade to come up with a solution. There are so many young people who come up with great ideas. And my hope was to try and target this younger population, because I think if the adults don't think it, they're not teaching it. So,
Right. So you think by introducing it to kids at a younger age, they're more likely to take the initiative to create programs that will help, like, will solve this problem rather than focusing on adults who
I really do.
where there's a large portion of them that don't believe it's happening or who don't care enough to do something to stop it from happening. That's why you focused on children.
Yes. And
Okay.
when I left that coloring book page, honestly, I thought, I didn't know what would happen, but it really was inspiring to me to see that the child actually went home and tried to make the little snail healthy. And I think that when they go into another grade and they take a science class, it'll resonate. They'll know
Right.
that something's happening to the ocean. There is something when cars and trucks and buses and jets fly around, something bad is happening. And hopefully they're going to be the solution, because my generation, I'm probably the oldest here, but my generation is certainly not doing enough to remediate this problem. And I can't believe it. I just want to do anything I can. So
Okay,
I
thank you.
so let's start with you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions?
Hey, Donna, thanks for sharing. I really agree that it's important to talk with the kids with this issue. And yeah, because yeah, they are the future. But I'm wondering that you have kind of a happy ending in the end of the book, but it's
Yes,
not the
I
case
know.
in the reality.
I know that's not
Yeah,
the reality.
we are still facing this problem. And yeah, I'm wondering, do you think it's like we have chances to improve the situation, or is it like,
Yes, I do.
how do
Oh, I have so
you
much.
yeah.
I have so much hope for the future, but I know I did add the happy ending for a reason. I wanted to expose the possibilities because, and it specifically states that because of all wasteful habits, in exchange for the land and the sea, the world started to cool and it started to change. So my point was, only because of those things did I have a happy ending. Without those things, we would not have a happy ending. So that was the reason, but I think that's a really good question. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Any
Hi.
others?
Yeah, I really liked your presentation. I thought the story was adorable. I was just curious, can we buy this book? Is it online, or like, how could we get it?
Amazon.com, barnesandnobles.com. It's on a number of sites, and if it's going to be bought in bulk, there is a site. I'd have to get it for you. Kevy has my email, so but you can definitely purchase it. It's just look on Amazon.com or barnesandnoble.com.
Thank you. And then does the coloring page come with it, or is that like something separate?
No, but if you want, I'll email it to Kevy and you can have it.
Could you? I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Hello. Thanks so much for your talk. I just wanted to ask like some questions too about like why is it that this is kind of marketed towards the younger generation rather than, you know, like the adults and like the older population, because I think like encouraging recycling and everything is nice, but it doesn't make as much of a difference as we think it does when the recycling industry crashed back in 2018. And I just don't think it's as helpful when you to like put this all on like literal children who have no say in our politics and voting for like change, while we have, you know, like the elderly and like adults who make up a way larger population within the US, or just like, at least if we're talking about specifically the US.
Yeah, well, I think it's a worldwide problem. I don't think it's specifically a US problem, but my findings, my research led me to believe that adults are not paying attention enough. They're not doing enough, and there's too many of them not doing enough. There are some who are really passionate like I am, but there's not enough of them. And so I thought that by incorporating the glossary, it would help any adult who read this book to a child. And I was hoping it would elicit some type of awareness or wake up when they read to their child, because parents tend to like to read a book, and when a child has a question, they want to answer it. So I thought I provided resources in the reference page and the glossary so that they can accurately explain it to their children. I really, I get what you're saying about recycling. I know that I put down the jars, and I don't know by you, but by me, they stopped recycling jars, which is a shame. But I really think they should go back to that. I also sell real estate, and there are these greenhouses that they build, and they use all old glass, and they make countertops that look like granite that are just beautiful. And there's so many uses for it. Like, I really think they should go back to that. That would be something to help. But I have a lot of hope, because I read an article about a high school student who created some type of machine that was able to calculate when the waves were moving in and out, and he was able to calculate how to collect all the plastic waste that was being thrown into the ocean. And I thought, wow, we have to target kids even smaller so they learn earlier. And I just chose to write the target children because I felt like there was nothing out there for them. There's a lot of information for adults, and they're just not taking advantage of it. And that's, I just thought, like, if schools started teaching this at such a young age, the kids would grow up with it, and they would recognize the problems, learn how to resolve them, hopefully. And I really wanted to inspire them to engage in certain activities, even if it's saying, Mom, don't drive me today. I want to ride my bike. You know, anything like that. I was hoping to reach that population basically for that reason. I felt like adults are almost deaf, you know. And I felt like there's a lot of scientific information for them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I jump in? Ms. Kunzik and hi, and our wonderful Fulbright colleagues, Dr. Nato and Ms. Chang and everybody. It's so great to be here. And to all of you who are the ETAs, it's so exciting to see you. For those who don't know me, which is probably most of you, I was just a senior scholar in Taiwan, in Kaohsiung, and I had a fabulous semester. So terrific to be here. And as Donna mentioned my name, I was the one who was very happy to introduce her to Fulbright and Senior Officer Director Hong, who then made the connection. So hello, everybody. All your ETAs are in for a fabulous year. And it's so, as you know, Taiwan is absolutely wonderful. And if I could just make a few short comments. I love the question about why children. And as someone who taught preschool, and I don't want to mean to call you out, but Peony is one of my students, and I saw she's an ETA. We were chatting. And so I've now run programs for SUNY for global leadership. And so I've gone from preschool to Now also graduates programs when I was at National Sun Yat-sen University in Kaohsiung. And it's so important to target the young, not to put the burden on them, but I think as Donna said, something that a lot of educators have found exactly is the children will read it, the parents will read it to them, and then the parents will absorb it because if they're tired working all day, they're not going to sit down and read a scientific journal about this. But if their child's reading something that's simple that they can get, then it's almost like multiplication factor because the child is learning it, the teacher's learning it, school's learning it, and then the parents are learning it. So I think it's a really ingenious way to reach out. And so, but I love the questions and the comments, and you guys should definitely, I think, use the book because it'd be such a great tool for, so important, Taiwan and the ocean, as Donna said, Long Island, where we live, I'm in Long Island, and a different part in Oyster Bay. So actually Oyster Bay, I'm on the water, and it's so important no matter where we are. So I'll stop there, but hello, everybody. And it's great to be connected to Fulbright in Taiwan again. And Dr. Nadeau, thank you so much for all that you're doing and the team there with Ms. Kelly and everybody.
Thank you, Ali. Nice to see you.
Great to be here.
Any more questions? If not, you can find Donna's email address in the chat box. So you are free to contact her. And I believe students will learn more concepts more easily through the picture book format. And it's also very helpful for the teachers to use in your class. So thank you, Donna, for the wonderful sharing. And now I think we will have a break time. So ETAs and ETFs. Yes.
If I could just add one last thing.
Yes.
The Daniel Hong was mentioned, and as helping to organize this session. He is on the County Council of Penghu Island, and we have a new program in Penghu this year. Some of you ETAs will be there. And one thing that Penghu schools have been very active in is ocean education, including conservation, environmental protection, and so on. So the elementary schools in Penghu are very, very much involved in this kind of activist teaching. And so, yeah, I'm just thrilled that we had this this session, especially for our new relationship there. Sorry to interrupt you, Ariel.
It's okay. So now we can have a break time, and you can turn off your camera and take some rest or get some water. And please come back at 10. Okay, please come back at 10 and turn on your camera. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donna.
Nice
I
to
really
see
I'm
you.
gonna
enjoyed
put
this.
my email. Someone asked for my email. I'll put that in the chat box right now.
Thank you for
Okay,
joining
thank
us.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
I'll
Thank
put it
you.
in now
Bye-bye.
to everyone.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Chat. Can I do it? Let's see. Chat.
Pastor Shea, we can start the testing right now.
Oh, okay. Okay, let's see. Can you see my screen?
Still running. Yeah, can see it.
Okay. And if I
It's
play
ending it.
can you see? Yeah, you will see. Okay. I need to adjust this. Otherwise, you are going to see. Is that right?
Yeah, this is much better. Yeah.
Okay.
And we will do a Zoom poll at the same time. Global contact list, Taiwan. Okay, so you wanted to do 6 questions in the very beginning.
We can, well, how can we do this? But I don't remember which question correspond to which slide. So I'm thinking probably I just go through the basic information and then we just go through the poll. Just 6 questions at once. I think that's probably easier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And then we actually don't need to share the results because basically I will go through them in the later slides. So.
Can you see it? Because we can present the result.
The result. Yeah,
Yes,
but not
on
the results of the poll. So how many people choose which item.
Yeah.
But we don't necessarily need to announce that what's the correct one.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah,
Okay, understand. Okay, so
so how was it going so far?
Very good. I think we have just had our storybook writer. She finished her talk earlier, so we are able to do the testing, have a longer break.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think everyone is online on time already.
Okay. So how many people do we have right now?
About 198.
Wow, almost 200. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So how about this? We will come back to the screen later. Now we present the break time and the music, and then I will invite you.
Okay. So I should stop sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. See you later.
Yeah. How to do it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. So before the next speaker, I'd like to introduce another important person in our English language teaching program. Let's welcome Kelly Zhang, our Director of English Language Teaching Programs.
Good morning, everyone. Good evening. So next topic, we invited a very special speaker today, and he's going to share with us the global competitiveness of Taiwan. And before we start, I would like to introduce Professor Xiangxuan Xie, Patrick Xie. And he has the PhD from Cornell University, and he is currently the professor and the chairman for the Department of Civil Engineering in National Taiwan University. And he is also the director of Research Center of Building and Infrastructure. It's kind of long, yeah. But also he had many administrative positions in National Taiwan University, including the Office of International Affairs. Patrick is very passionate and very supportive to the international exchange programs and the students. So let's welcome Professor Xie.
Good day, everyone. I think you're all over the world, so maybe it's your morning, maybe it's your afternoon, or even evening. Yeah. So I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share with you some of my findings, because it's kind of a short notice for preparing this talk, and it's actually not my expertise to talk a broad topic like this, but I try to use my expertise in doing research and try to dig out some information, and I would like to share with you some of the information I have found so far. It's not going to be very comprehensive, and also there's some kind of personal selection. But anyway, let me share my screen, and then I can share the talk. Okay, let me see where is the screen one? Yeah, this, and I need to flip this, I think. Okay. Is it coming up okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So thanks, Katie, for the introduction. But I also want to briefly talk about this because I think it's kind of important for you to know my background, so you may have better understanding why I select some topic to talk about in my talk. I got my higher education at Cornell University, Ithaca, New York. And so I spent 6 years over there, and later on I spent 2 years as a postdoc researcher at the Purdue University in Indiana. So I spent 8 years in the US, but that was kind of a long time ago. And then I spent more than 25 years teaching at the National Taiwan University. But fortunately, I got some opportunity to serve in the Office of International Affairs, and also currently I'm the chairman at the Department of Civil Engineering, National Taiwan University. So I have a lot of chances to explore the world and talk to many international scholars throughout the year. So, and there's another thing on this slide is that I was the executive secretary in the national program on applied science and technology for disaster reduction. So I will share some information about this. So first of all, I would like to share with you some basic information. I don't know how many of you have tried to dig out some information from internet or from your friends to know about Taiwan. I think there are some basic information. One is the population. So that's the current population. I picked out this number last night, so should be kind of accurate. And then it's ranked 57 in the world. So in terms of population, I think right now the whole world has 200 plus countries. So we are actually not too small. The land area is actually not big. So in terms of density, we are ranked 16th in the world. But you can see that Taiwan's map. So that's the Taiwan island. And you can see in the middle, we have a high mountain area. So actually, the Greenlands is not much. So in terms of that, actually the density can be higher. But also, if we look at this land area, it's usually the projection or the projected areas. But since we have high mountains, so if you look at the land areas in 3D, actually you can say that we probably have more lands. Okay, so it depends on how you look at that. But right now, most of the population concentrates on the northern part of Taiwan. So I think in northern part of Taiwan, we have probably more than half of population. So especially the big cities in Taipei City, New Taipei City, according to the number I learned, is about 8 million people in Taipei, big Taipei area, and then about 2.5 million in Taichung, and then Kaohsiung and Tainan, both around like 1 to 2 million people over there. So that's kind of the distribution. And also, if you look at the map, and you know that we have the high mountain area, so that for the mountain climber, it's a paradise. But in terms of the natural resources, if you look at this, if you love climbing mountains, you can see that we have a big forest there, and then we have 258 mountain peaks at an elevation of more than 3,000 meters. So it's very unique. And so it's very nice for hiking. But at the same time, because we're high mountains, and also we have a lot of rain, so the water need to come down to the sea through very steep slope. So we have the landslide issues, and then we have earthquake, we have typhoon. So you can see that if you look at the some statistic, this is from the natural disaster hotspots global risk analysis. I just extract one table from them. It says countries most exposed to multiple hazards. And you can see Taiwan is kind of ranked #1. Although we only have a maximum 4 types of hazards, some countries actually have up to 5. But if you see the percentage of total area exposed and percentage of population exposed, the number is very, very high. So although we are facing this difficult environment, but through a lot of efforts, and also we have very strong engineering, especially my expertise, civil engineering. So we currently we are still doing quite well to provide safe environment for our people. And then I'm going to go through some statistics to share with you some our global competitiveness rank. But before going to that part of slides, I would like to do some questionnaire. So we prepare 6 questions. So it's not a quiz. Just I would like to know that how much you know about Taiwan's competitiveness. Okay, Katie is going to help us to do it.
Yes. Jody, we can present the poll. Everyone can answer the questions and press submit down at the right hand side, the bottom. Jody, when you have a result, you can present.
Okay, now it's about like 70% of people
Yeah, sure.
already.
Can present.
Shall we wait? Or-
Yeah, we can present it now. Oh, Dr. Xie, shall we present the result now, or will we present all the questions?
Well, my original plan is that I will present the results later. But well, if it's okay. It's easier to just show the result. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So top 20.
Okay. So most of people think it's top 20. Good. Okay.
Next one.
Yeah.
Jody, you can present it.
I think there's still people answering the question. So should we wait until 80% of people already answered? Then
Yeah.
I will share.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry, it's not a test, as I mentioned, just based on your intuitive feeling, and it just it's a single choice, so shouldn't be too difficult to make your selection.
Dr. share is the results.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, top
So,
20. Okay.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one. Okay, Jody, can you present it? This one's kind of difficult.
Okay, the top choice is government efficiency. Wow. I don't know you have that much trust to our government. Okay, that's good.
Next one.
Okay, so most people choose top 5, right? Okay.
Ready? Palau. Palau is the highest.
Okay. Okay. Allow. Okay.
Next one.
The last one.
Ready?
Government grant. Okay. 48%. Okay. Very good. Thanks for your cooperation. The quick conclusion is that we cannot trust too much about on the general poll. So I'm going to show you some results that I have. Okay. 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 Yeah. Okay. So based on IMD World Competitiveness Ranking 2021, Taiwan ranked
Patrick,
8th.
we cannot hear you.
Oh,
I think you
okay.
mute
What?
for the whole
What
session.
Okay.
To turn on your microphone.
Okay, let me see where I can turn on my microphone because I'm right now in
So
the
we can hear. We can.
yeah.
Oh, 他们听得到，所以应该是 OK。
Oh, okay, okay. So you can hear me? Okay, good. So this is from Taiwan News. Because I need to find English material, so a lot of time I was directed to Taiwan News. So you will see a lot of Taiwan News titles today. So based on the Taiwan News report, Taiwan ranked 8th in IMD World Competitiveness Ranking 2021. And you can see they basically have 4 categories: economic performance, government efficiency, business efficiency, and infrastructure. You can see number 1 is Switzerland, then Sweden, Denmark, Netherlands, Singapore, Norway, Hong Kong. The 8th is Taiwan. And the number you see in parentheses, that was last year's rank. So you can see we advanced from 11 to 8th. And also in the individual items, we also have a big jump, especially economic performance is ranked 6th. And then the business efficiency is at 7, and government efficiency 8. They are very close. Infrastructure is currently probably the weakest. Is ranked 14 in the world. And then you can see in the past the overall performance. It was 14 in 2017, and then it dropped a little bit, and in recent years, especially this year, is already in the top 10. Okay, so that's the number. I don't have the time to go into the details. How do they rank this? But they have been ranking this for years. So and then if we look at the populations greater than 20 million. Taiwan probably have the advantage because we just above 20 million. So we are very close to that borderline. But you can see we are ranked number 1. Okay. The second one is US, and then Canada, Germany, China, UK, Australia, and so on. So based on this statistic, we are not too bad. And then I found out that they actually have another world ranking that's called Digital Competitiveness Ranking, but I couldn't find this year's. I think it's not published yet. Taiwan is ranked this year at 11. Last year that was 13. US is number 1, and then Singapore, Denmark, Sweden, Hong Kong, Switzerland, Netherlands, South Korea, Norway, Finland, and then Taiwan, and then Canada, UK. So that's another ranking. And then in the Invest Taiwan, I found these numbers. Is the international rankings. We are ranked 12th among the 141 countries in Global Competitiveness Report. This is according to the World Economic Forum. So different organizations, they have different way to do the ranking. So based on the one I just showed, that's 8th, and this one's 12th. It's actually not very close. And then 18th among 137 countries in Global Entrepreneurship and Development Index. The 4th in overall investment environment, in overall investment environment by BERI, Business Environment Risk Intelligence. Ace in IMD, we just mentioned. 15th, most improved economy for ease doing business. Okay, so those are the numbers. You can see that we are all ranked in the top 20. And this is another table I found. There are 3 items. Technological infrastructure, we are ranked at the 10th. The number 1 is Singapore. US is the 5th. And then scientific infrastructure, US is number 1. Taiwan is 6th. Innovation capability, that's by WEF. Number 1 is Germany, and then US, Switzerland, Taiwan is the 4th. So you can see that we are quite good. Then I want to talk about education. This one I will just use National Taiwan University as an example because NTU is the most comprehensive university and also ranked number 1 in Taiwan. So if we look at its ranking in the world, we can, I think you can get some idea how our education is ranked in the world. So based on the QS World University ranking, NTU is ranked 66 overall, the university this year, and 19th in Asia. And then if we look at the Times Higher Education World University ranking, NTU is ranked 97th this year and 21 in Asia. Last year, I think this year's is not published yet. And there's another ranking called World Reputation ranking for universities. NTU is ranked 40th. And I want to show you another statistic that's about the individual fields ranking. So you can see the best one is College of Engineering and College of Electronic Engineering and Computer Science. So in the field of engineering technology, we are ranked 40th. And that also reflects our industry. So Taiwan's engineering industry, as manufacturing industry, is very strong, and it also attracts a lot of students to go through engineering education. In Europe, in US, a lot of time you need to make big promotion to attract students to go through engineering education. It's not happening significantly right now in Taiwan. Still a lot of students who choose engineering as their career path. So we are quite strong in engineering. But for the science and life science, we are ranked 62, and medicine 80s, and management social science 69, liberal arts 84. They are all top 100. So you can see it's quite balanced. Okay, and then if you look at the even more specific subjects in QS, NTU has 33 subjects in top 100. The best one is classic and Asian history, and then modern language and engineering, especially civil and structural, and then linguistic, medicine, and sports-related subjects. Taiwan used to be very strong in medicine in the field because due to Japanese occupation, at that time, Taiwanese were only allowed to study medicine. So a lot of Taiwanese, especially elder people, they always treat medicine as a #1 choice in higher education. But of course, recently it's much more diverse. And then let's spend some time to take a look at the economy side. Okay, so based on this report, this is quite new. is the end. The report is July 30th this year. Foreign banks are optimistic about Taiwan economy. Okay. So this is a French bank. It's very optimistic. So it thinks this year Taiwan's GDP would be 6.4%. But based on DBS, it predicts a 5%. And based on Taiwan's leading think tank, we also focus around 5%. So maybe between 5 and 6 for this year. And then, well, this year, you know that last year and this year we have the pandemic, but Taiwan's economies are still going quite strongly. And then I found another report that's called Global Finance. Every year they are kind of doing this ranking on richest countries in the world. So I take out the new information this morning. So you can see number 1 is Luxembourg, and then Singapore, Ireland, Qatar, and then United States is ranked number 7. And then on the right hand side, you can see Taiwan is ranked 16th. So we are also at the top 20. So that's about economics. And then there are some famous Taiwanese brands that you may know. I don't know. That's from my perspective. But right now, I think you probably have seen a lot of news about TSMC, semiconductor, the leading semiconductor manufacturer. I think they produce almost half of the semiconductor products in the world. And right now, you all know that IC is very important. Currently, a lot of automobile manufacturers have to stop their production because there are lack of the IC, the chips for their cars. And also TSMC is going to set a new factory in Arizona, in the US. I think they are already planning and to do it in the next 2 or 3 years. And then another one probably you know better is Foxconn is also leading manufacturing company in the world. I think most of the iPhone are from them. So and then also there are many associated companies kind of in the supply chain of Foxconn and Apple, Google, and so on. And also Google has its data center hub in Taiwan, the largest in Taiwan, in Asia, in the southern part of Taiwan. And they are still constructing new data centers. So you can see that a lot of investment right now in Taiwan from US. Okay, so I don't know how many do you recognize. And Johnson & Johnson, if you like to do exercise at home or in the gym, Johnson actually produce a lot of those machines. And a lot of companies are in the IT industry. And Giant, if you like biking, Giant is a big brand in the world. And also, if you have the chance to ride a U-bike in Taipei City, all those U-bikes are from Giant. And those are expensive bicycles. As I was told, each bicycle costs more than 10,000 NT dollars. Yeah. So it's very durable, reliable. You can try, but you need to be careful. Right now, there are 2 versions. It's called 1.0. You buy 1.0 and 2.0. They are not compatible. So you have to be careful about this. Okay. And then recently, logistics is also a hot topic. Right now, a lot of ships are lying in a lot of ports around the world, try to ship goods. And so a lot of delays right now. That also affects the automobile industry, and even for some company selling bubble teas in US, they just cannot get the material in time. So I look at these container shipping companies in the world, because Taiwan, we have two big container shipping companies. So you can see that Evergreen Marine Corporation is ranked 5th, and then Yangmin Marine Transport Corporation is ranked 10th. So we actually have two companies in the top 10 to contribute to the sea transportation in the world. And then I want to share some information about our society. So I don't know if you know that we have very nice national health care system. Based on this ranking, this is the called non-BO's annual online survey. Taiwan's healthcare is ranked #1 in the world of this year. It's already 3 years in a row. And then the second place is South Korea, and then France, Japan, Denmark, Spain, Australia, Thailand, and so on. And I don't know after the pandemic if the ranking will be changed, but that's a current ranking. The index score, actually Taiwan score 86.39, so it's quite high. And then if we look at the quality of life, so there's another survey. Taiwan also ranked #1 in the world for quality of life. That's by the expatriates. Called Internations Expert Insider Report. But this one I can only dig out from 2018. I couldn't find newer ones. So we can say Taiwan was ranked #1 in the world. And then there are some other items, affordable healthcare, personal safety. Taiwan is ranked especially high. And then there's personal happiness. Taiwan was ranked 3rd. 5th for travel and transport, and 5th for health and well-being. So you will be very safe when you are in Taiwan. But always I would tell my international friends, always you still need to be alert on things. But in Taiwan, I think most of you probably in the very beginning, one thing that you may be scared is about the motorcycles we have in the cities. We have a lot of motorcycles. And because you probably don't have that kind of experiences, so you don't know how you should behave or interact with the motorcycles. So that's probably one thing you need to be careful about when you are getting across to the street. Motorcycle is the objects that you need to be careful about at very beginning. Okay. And then okay, so yeah, that's also this one is another report, but it also ranked Taiwan as #1 in the world in quality of life. And so that's among 59 destinations. The second place was Mexico. This is the newest one, 2021. And so those are the number, and I couldn't find US in the top 10. And then there's another ranking by economists. Taiwan is ranked 24th this year in the Safe Cities Index. So you should feel safe in Taiwan. Copenhagen is ranked number 1, and then Toronto, Singapore, Sydney, Tokyo. So that's for your reference. And then they have some other safety metrics like personal health, infrastructure, digital, and environmental security. Taiwan was ranked 13th in 2015. So that's the number for you to look at. And then Taiwan ranked number 9 in the world for gender equality. So this is based on the Gender Inequality Index. Taiwan is actually ranked number 1 in Asia. So you can see like Katie is treated fairly in Taiwan. And right now our president is also President Ing-wen Tsai is also a female, and many people in the office, government office are female. The percentage is not low. Okay, and then there's another index called Doing Good Index 2020. This is mainly for Asia social sectors. You can see that Taiwan and Singapore are ranked the best in the doing well. But I went through the report quickly. They actually have another rank called Doing Excellent. So nobody have reached that yet. So there's still room for both Singapore and Taiwan to work for. And they look at the regulation, tax, fiscal policies, and ecosystem, procurement, and so on. So they are trying to evaluate or study private capital, how private capital meets societal needs. So this one we performed quite well so far. And then we just did a survey, right? Actually, for the social delivery organization in Taiwan, they got most of the funding from individual donations, 43%. Government grant only 30%. So that's the number for your reference. So in Taiwan, right now we are kind of rich, right? Ranked 16 in the world. But people actually are very willing to contribute and to help to do some feedback back to the society. Not just through donation of monies, but also donation of time, other resources. And not just within Taiwan, we also make a lot of donation and try to help some countries in the world. This one is the news in 2011. During the time, Japan was hit by earthquake, and so Taiwan actually gave most to Japan in 2011 among 130 countries. Okay, and most of these are through personal donations, not through the government. So you can see the kind of private sector or the individual in Taiwan, they are not just rich, but they also like to share. In the past, we enjoy a very high saving rate in Taiwan. So a lot of elder people, they are actually rich in this sense. And then also right now, sustainability is also very important in the world. So I also dig out some index or ranking about sustainability. In this one, by APAC, among the APAC corporations, Taiwan emerged in the top spot for the first time, with Australia ranked second and South Korea third. So that's also for your reference. Right now, we are working very hard on energy saving and carbon emission reduction. And also in recent years, we are also looking at the circular economy in Taiwan. Okay. So I think in Taiwan, we always feel thankful. I think not just when we receive help from others, we feel thankful, but also when people give us the opportunity to help them, we also feel thankful that we have this kind of opportunity so we can share. So that's pretty much for all the information I can dig out for you. I wish you to enjoy your stay in Taiwan and try to explore more about Taiwan during your stay. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, I would do my best to answer.
Thank you, Dr. Xie. So ETFs and ETAs, do you have any questions? If you have, you can unmute your microphone.
Thank you so much for your presentation. I really learned a lot. I have a question for you. What do you think is the most significant issue that is facing the Taiwanese people domestically in 2021?
Well, right now, we need vaccine. I think that's right now in the news all the time. People are talking about why we order so many vaccine and then they got delayed, and still a lot of young people, they haven't got the chance to get vaccinated. So that's the most urgent current issue. And another thing is about national security, right? Because about the tension right now in Taiwan Strait and also in the South Asia area, people are concerned. We enjoy peaceful life for many years, and people would like to stay at this status quo. But of course, people in Taiwan also would like to have more recognition from the world. So in a lot of organizations, we still cannot send our representatives, and even some of the information I share with you, I can only dig out the information up to 2017 or 18. And then I go to the same source to try to dig out the information from the same source, and I couldn't find Taiwan. It was kind of removed or disappeared from their list. Yeah, so that's the current situation. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yes, that did. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I learned so much during your presentation.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, sir. I was wondering, what role do you think the ECFA has had in regards to the development of Taiwan's economy in the past decade or so? And do you think it's been a long-term benefit or hindrance to the Taiwanese economy?
Well, it is really not in my expertise. Okay, I can
apologies.
just share. Yeah, I can just share my own observations. I think Taiwan's economy, if you look at the history, about 40-50 years ago, the government started to invest in Taiwan to build the basic infrastructures. Before that, actually, when the government, the KMT moved to Taiwan, they are still trying to see if they have the chance to return to mainland China to reclaim the territory. But then about 40-50 years ago, they finally realized that they need to invest in Taiwan. So starting from there, then we started to build our national infrastructure, the highways, the ports, the power plants, and so on, reservoirs. So at that time, there's a big investment. And then about 30 years ago, and then the martial law was removed, and then Taiwan started to enjoy the democracy. But it's a hard learning experience. So goes been through changes of the parties but in 30 years, I think if you look at the whole world, I think it's kind of a miracle to me. And then once we start to enjoy the democracy, and so the private sector had more freedom to explore more opportunity in the world, and starting to build their some of the investment of foundations. That's how in the conductor industry, like TSMC, right? They started to try to learn from the leading companies, and gradually now they become the number one. So they need to innovate. In the past, they can just copy, doing the copycat, improve. But right now, everybody is trying to copy what they have, and so they need to innovate. So that's kind of the change in the past 30 years in Taiwan. A lot of stretching in the society too, and also in the government systems. So right now, I would say that the government actually, because of the whole world in the past 20 years has changed a lot, especially technologically. So I think a lot of people actually, especially senior people, they are suffering from this. I'm a professor in the university. I still have very good learning capability, but I also feel a lot of pressure to catch up with all the technology. But I think the most important thing is about the value change. And so in Taiwan society right now, we are also experiencing this value change. So there's some conflicts between the young people and the senior people. They have different values. They are running different value systems. So those are the things that is going to affect Taiwan's economic growth. But I'm still optimistic, and also optimistic to our young people. And I think you will have a lot of chances also to observe our society. So I don't know if we have the chance to meet again after you and then you can share your experience in Taiwan with us as an observer. And so probably that will also give us more idea how we can do much better, especially I'm in the education sector. We always think that education is a key for the next 30 years. So how we educate our students, and then that's how we can expect our society 30 years later. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but that's the best I can do.
No, you did in part. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Shin,
Yeah.
for the informative presentations. So Taiwan is very small, but people here are doing our best to show the world about Taiwan. And ETAs and ETFs, I believe you will discover more amazing facts about Taiwan in the coming year. So thank you again, and we will have 10 minutes break. Please come back at 11. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank
Enjoy
you,
your day.
Professor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
So welcome back. So before we start the next session, I would like to introduce an important person in Taiwan. His name is Mr. Qi Bolin. He is one of the greatest documentary filmmakers and directors and environmentalists in Taiwan. His work, Beauty Beyond Taiwan from Above, is an aerial photography documentary, which won the Golden Horse Film Award in Taiwan. Today, we are privileged to invite Mr. Qi Tinghuan, who is the director of the board in Qi Bolin Foundation. He is promoting Mr. Qi Bolin's philosophy to have more people see the beauty of Taiwan and face up the environmental issues in Taiwan. Let's welcome Mr. Qi Bolin.
Hello, everyone. And can you hear my voice? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is the first time I give a English presentation to everyone. So please forgive my accent and my bad grammar because I'm not a native speaker. And after my high school education, I never have an officially English, education. I learned my English from like a Top Gear or Brooklyn Nine-Nine or something like that. So yeah, Nine-Nine. So I cannot say the speaking English very properly, but today I'm gonna give you some picture to show the beautiful of my Taiwan. And someone has told my father says that Taiwan is very small. It's a very small island. So what you gonna take a picture for it? And my father says that, yes, Taiwan is very small, but have you already seen all around the Taiwan? And so South Taiwan is very small island, but we have a lot of, mountains and sea and waters and rivers. So today I'm gonna use my picture to show you the beautiful of Taiwan. And like many countries in the world, Taiwan still have a little problem or environment issues. And so I will also told you about that. And okay, so first I gotta show you this picture. Wait for me. Okay, this is the highest mountain in Taiwan. It's called Yushan, and Yu is means jade, J-A-D, jade in Taiwan. And my father take a lot of picture of this jade mountain because the NTU professor had told you that there's a lot of parties and different thoughts of politics. So Taiwan's people are not like American people or British people. They are very proud or have a faith in their country. So there's very distributions. So when my father been to Japan, he said he's in the Fuji mountain, and he think, wow, the people in Japan, they love their mountains and they take the Fuji mountain as their, their presentation, their symbol of Japan. So my father thinks the Jade Mountain may be the symbol of Taiwan because the Jade Mountain was first called a new high mountain by Japanese because the Fuji mountain is not as high as the Jade Mountain. The Jade Mountain is the East Asia's tallest mountain. So he think this mountain can be our proud, our symbol. And I was the high school Chinese teacher, Chinese literature teacher, and I showed this picture to my students and I asked, what's this mountain? No one can answer me. They say, yeah, this is the Himalaya or something like that. And I say, hey, you are Taiwanese, but you don't know the highest mountain in Taiwan. How come? So I think introduce this mountain to not only Taiwanese, but also our foreigner friends is a very important thing that and one of my friends is have a business of traveling, and there's a lot of people from British, from American, they come to Taiwan because they want to go to mountain climbing. And I ask them, so you have a lot of mountains in your country, right? So why you come here? And they say, because Taiwan is small, I can go to the Jade Mountain, this morning. The Jade Mountain is 390 955 meters tall. And I say Taiwan is very small, so I can go to the Jade Mountain this morning. And when the night has come, I go to a night market. And the other day, I can go to the hot spring, or go to the beach, or go to river. So that one is very convenient about that. Okay, so I think this is the advantage of our country. You can go from Taipei to Kaohsiung in 3 or 4 hours. If you take the railway, and you can have maybe 2 hours, you get from Taipei to Kaohsiung. That's very convenient, I think. I have been to California, to Los Angeles, and when I get a drive a car to the Yellow Rock, is that Yellow Rock National Park, it takes me 4 or 5 days. So it's a very long journey there. Yes, it's a very long journey. Yeah, but okay. So this is how my father taken picture by the helicopters. Helicopters in Taiwan is is unbelievably expensive. It takes how to say that 150,000 an hour. So that's very expensive for everyone. So my father has been taking aerial photo for about 2,000 hours. It's been 20 years already. So every time he go to take an aerial photo, he need to rent a helicopter and prepare a lot of equipment. Yes, this is him. He is not the same as me. I'm very short, and he's very tall and big. So he's very a tough guy, and he use a lot of equipment to filming. And this is his tools or equipment during the working, or it's a Canon or fixed one. So this is we bought this. It's called Cineflex. It's a company in California. It takes about 20 million Taiwan dollars to buy only this. So you can see my father so taking care about this. He never do this to me before. And why he take this? Because he had experience doing work with a German company, and that German company filming is so stable and so clear. My father was so exciting about it. So why? What can you doing? Do this and do that. And they introduced this equipment to my father. And as I know, if you watching the Fast and Furious, they also use this kind of camera to filming their movies. So this camera was so stable that when my father had a crash on the helicopter, the camera still keep all the memory disks on it, and it can still be read and watch. So that's really, I say, worth every penny about it. Okay, so when he working on the helicopter, he's doing like that. He opened the door and just leaning out of the helicopter and taking picture about it. So he doing this in maybe 1,000 meters high, or he can do this on the 40 meters high. So I don't know. I don't know 40 meters is how fit due to the feet, but it's very high, and he just leaning out the helicopter, and then is he taking picture about the mountains. Well, it takes us a lot of you need to be very brave and a lot of courage to doing this. Yes, and he was inspired by a director from France. It's called Home. He take a picture about it. It's called Home. It's filming the Earth, and my father was how to say inspired by this, or yes. And there's a little story about my father. And once he had one time his helicopter is down, and he want to take off the seat belt and out of the helicopter. When he put his hand on his foot, on his stomach, and he find out there's no seatbelt on his stomach, and he think is I'm so so stupid and I forgot to take on the seatbelt, or I already take off when the helicopter touched the ground. And he was sitting on the helicopter for maybe 20 minutes. He can't get out it because his leg was so soft. So it's a very, I say, very dangerous, very dangerous working, very dangerous job, and it's not very comfortable. If you take a airplane from United States to Taiwan, you have bathroom, you have, you know, the beautiful ladies give you meals on the airplane. But when you only helicopter, there's no bathroom, there's no food, and you are always yelling. I go to a filming with him once. He's taking a photo about Taipei 101, the highest building in Taiwan. That's a very awful experience. Very hot there, the engine is very loud, and everyone is yelling at each other because they cannot hear about it. So I'm very, I'm very proud of my father to doing this. So now I'm going to showing his picture and showing his mind and thought. And my father's, if my father is here, he won't give an English presentation because his English was not very bad. I need to say, I always writing letters for him. He cannot even spell the eraser or something. So yes, and but the first, my father go to the aerial photo shooting because he has work in the highway building bureau in Taiwan. He's building Taiwan's highway, and first, he always wants to take beautiful pictures because our government also called our land is a Formosa or treasure land. It's a beautiful land. So he always wants to take in the beautiful picture like us. We taking pictures on Instagram and we will make it beautiful. But after the 1999, there's a really big earthquake happened in Taiwan. It's called the 921 earthquake in Taiwan. And this picture is a 99 mountain because there's a lot of mountains in this, or you can call it 99 peak, 99 peak. So this is the 1 year before the earthquake. It's very beautiful, it's very green, but this is the 1 year at 1 month after the 921 earthquake. You can see the trees are falling down, or the green mountain, green peaks being yellow. So the government think we can put some seed. Yes, you don't. You're right. You put some seeds on the mountain and hope them will grow up. But there's no working because the birds eat all the seeds and the some seeds just falling down the mountain. So just leave it. And some expert says you just leave it alone. So it's 10 years after the earthquake. All the green trees and grass are growing back. But when we talk to the the building we handmade, we people building, it won't just growing back. This is a Lin's garden. It's in the Wufeng, Taichung. Yes, and there's two families. They both have a Lin last name is Lin. They are the richest family in Taiwan before, and this is their garden. You can see there's a lot of little traditional buildings there. Okay, this is the 1 month after the earthquake. All the all the buildings were falling down, so they take almost 20 years to rebuild it, and this is now. It becomes more beautiful, and it just take 20 years. Yes, the mountain take 10 years, they can grow back, but the people's building their house, it takes 20 years. So after that earthquake, my father was, this is my father and his assistants. After that earthquake, my father found that Taiwan was it's our motherland, but he's like every mother, it growing old. It's not as beautiful as they were. There's a lot of wounds on it. We are just keep hurting our motherland. So he wants to filming not only the beautiful one, but also the wooden one. Then I always ask my father, why you don't call this ugly or horrible? And he said, you won't call your mother ugly or horrible. You say she was getting old because it gives their all their times, and they're beautiful to you. So this is the helicopter was very convenient because you can parking everywhere. It takes only 2 car parking lots and you can park this little helicopter on it. I think there's more helicopters in American, but there's a few in Taiwan. So filming this is very, it's very hard. And my father have a movie called Beyond Beauty. He want to film the Beyond Beauty too, but unfortunately, he had an accident during the filming. So my father just passed away 4 years ago. And 4 years, these 4 years, I just keep talking to people, let them know my father is so love his motherland, he love this country. Okay, so okay, I will take you a little around the Taiwan, from Taipei to Kaohsiung and from Kaohsiung to Hualien to Taitung, to take around this beautiful little island. Okay, this is the Yangming Mountain. So you guys are coming to Taiwan. Your first stop is in Taipei, I think. So this is a mountain just beside Taipei, but this is not a normal mountain. It's a volcano. They say they're a dead volcano, but it still have a lot of hot spring on it. And this is like a like a tea cake. I say it's like a green tea cake. I talked to my father, so when I've been to Japan. Japan has a mountain named Yaso Mountain, and Yaso Mountain is look like a matcha tea pudding or cake. So I tell my father, hey, there's a pudding-like mountain in Japan, and he immediately sent this picture to me. Say, you don't need to pay for the expensive airplane ticket to Japan. Just walk from your home 20 minutes and you can see this. I say, oh, okay. So Yangming Mountain is a very popular place for all the Taipei people, because Taipei city was around by mountains, and the Yangming Mountain, this Yangming Mountain have a very beautiful views and hot spring. I really recommend you guys can go to there and take a nice hot spring tour during September or October. Yes, they will be very comfortable and very enjoyable. And this is 九份. The 九份, 九 is 9, and the fen is peace. Because they're in the maybe 100 or 200 years ago, there's only 9 families living on this mountain. So they always ask the businessmen to take 9 pieces or 9 cups or 9 something. So this is called 九份, the 9 pieces. And another famous director in Taiwan is Hou Xiaoxian. He has filming a movie about this. And because in the 200 or 100 years ago, this place is a mining field. They're mining some coal, mining gold from here. So once this was a very popular, very crowded place, and now it becomes a famous location that every Japanese or Korean tourist, they come to Taiwan, they always go to 九份because it's very beautiful. Okay, and this is the 翡翠水库. How to say 水库 in English? I don't know how to say 水库. It's like a place you keep water in it, and if you need waters, and you just take it from there. And this give all around the Taipei city, the new Taipei city, we all have to take water from this water pool. And you can see the middle, there's a little island on it. It's called the Crocodile Island because they think this look like a hot crocodile. But I think this look like a husky dog, in the middle of the pool. And this green is not because it's get some dirty in there. It's because when the sun's come and all the beautiful green mountain just reflects on the water. So it's called 翡翠. 翡翠is this kind of color in Chinese. And 翡翠is also it's like a jade. So this is like a jade color in Taiwan, in Chinese. So you can see there's a very few people around this water field, because this is not allow people to go in it, because they will make the water dirty and make a lot of dirt in it. Okay, So if you want to come here, it's called Wulai. It's about 20 minutes. You drive in car, it's about 20 minutes. You can from Taipei City to this place. It's very beautiful. I really recommend. And this is Taoyuan. It's called Beicha Tianshan. It's a mountain all filled with this kind of trees. And this kind of trees is very, he come from thousands years ago. And in the Ice Age. In the Ice Age, it already lived in Taiwan. But when the global warming, the average temperature is going very high, so they can only live on this mountain. If they go down the mountain, it's too hot for them. So it's very beautiful. There's a lot of colors in our treasure lands mountains, and this is called a 大坝尖山. It's because it's like a, the wine barrel. The upper one is look like a wine barrel, and it's a big barrel. You can see the just the back about 2 or 3 kilometers. There's a little one. It's called Small Barrel. It's called Small Barrel Mountain, and this is a Big Barrel Mountain. And there's a lot of mountains in Taiwan. Taiwan has a climbing tradition. There's a 100 mountains. The tallest 100 mountains, they all over 3,000 meters high. So there's a lot of mountains more than 3,000 meters high in Taiwan. Yes, so there's about 70% of the world. The world have a 70% of world's high mountain over 3,000. That's in Taiwan. So that's a very, 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 very great experience when you come to Taiwan and you go to mountain climbing. But if you don't like mountain climbing, well, there's another place you can go. This is in Taoyuan. This is a lot of pound because from the maybe 100 years ago, the farmers here, they need this to give water to their field. So there's a lot of this. This is called pi tang in Taiwan, called pi tang. And my father noticed this because when he finished the job with the Germans asked my father, what's this? If you guys come from United States, you get landing in the Taoyuan International Airport. Just look outside and you can see this. And the German says this is like a pure or like an angel's tears. Okay. So why you guys don't film in this? And my father says because we take it for granted. And this is just very, very normal for us. But I think this is very beautiful. And when you come to Taiwan and you can see this at the first sight, I think this is very beautiful. Okay, but there's some sad situation in Taiwan. This is also in Taoyuan. There's a little, the not so good. A lot of Taiwan's rivers were very colorful, but it should not be colorful, So there's a little bit disappointed. But I need to tell you because we won't let you just know the beautiful side. Okay, and this is also the Jade Mountain. The Jade Mountain has this. This is weather. Okay, people researching climate, researching weather. They're living on this. So this is a very, very small cabin on the mountain. But if you go to mountain climbing in Jade Mountain, you can go to this place, and you can see this. The right side of the picture, there's a little brown house. I don't think this is house. It's cabin there. This is the highest bathroom or lavatory in Taiwan. It's 3,500 meters high lavatory. So you can go to there and use it. It's a very cool thing, I think. Okay, this is the place that even Taiwanese people, they don't know about it. It's called Nengao Andong Junshan. It's a long name. And when you see this this green thing, that's not grass. That's a little bamboo because there was some deers water deers. They come to here and eat this bamboo and drinking water in this in this let's say house or pool. Yes. So this is a very beautiful place, and you can take a hiking on this. It take you about 3 hours to go there. Okay. And this is Sunwin Lake. I think some people already hear about Sunwin Lake because it's a very popular place. And this is a very good I say examples, because the hotel's owners, they know they need to keep this water very clean, so the tourists will come here and pay for them. So they pay a lot of money to keep this water beautiful. They take all the garbages from the mountain down to the ground. So this is a very beautiful place. And once a year, there's a competition here. It's called 10,000 people swim across the Sunwin Lake. So if you are, you like to swimming, you can come here. The water is very, very clean, extremely clean. So there's hundreds, thousands of people just go there and swimming from the right side of the hotel and to the left side. That's very, a very good experience. So, and there's also a lot of hotels and motels and Airbnbs around the lake. You can wake up, open the windows, and you see the lake in your first sight. I think this is very beautiful. And it has also a famous tea egg. They use the tea to boil the egg, and it's very delicious. I think when you come to Taiwan, I think Taiwan is a place that filled with food. We got Japanese food, Korean food, American food, Italian food, French food. So maybe you come to Taiwan, I think the only thing you don't need to be worried is eating. Okay, and this is another water pool. You say that we keep water there, and the people need water just get from here. Because you see, the downside of this picture, there's a lot of people living there. So a lot of people living here, they cannot keep the environment clean, and the water, the dirty water, the sand, the dirt just fill it into the waters. So these waters already fill half of it. Okay. Oh, this is like this is not for fish, this is for salt. Yes. When yes, it's also 200 years ago, they don't have the chemical way to get salt. So they get it from the sea. And as you can see, this structure make the the sea waters come in, and the sea waters won't go out. And when the sun just give them hot and heat, and the sea water just go away, and the salt just leave it. And we don't use it now because my grandfather has go to this place and buy some salt, and he said the salt was not very good quality because there's a little dirt or little things, little rocks, sand in there. But I think this is a very cool way to get salt if you need it. So I think the senior people in Taiwan, they have a lot of feelings to their land because they got food, they got salt, they got salt, they got meat, they got everything from the land. Yes, not like us, we go to the Walmart or Costco or something like that, and we can get all what we need. And this is called the water forest. The tree was not growing in the water because I told this before, because the 9/21 earthquake, and the water just falling down from the mountain and filled all the trees. So the trees just died, but they won't fall down. Well, this is a very, very beautiful place in Jiayi. So if you come to Taiwan, you got a vacation, I highly recommend you go to here, because maybe 20 years later or 30 years later, the tree will fall down eventually. So they will fall down. And this tree, you see the trees in this picture. You think the tree is very, very small? No, this tree is about 3 or 4 floors high. So this very enormous and beautiful place you can go. Okay, in Jiayi. Okay, okay, this is how to say that? It's a carol. Carol, is that right? In the little things in the sea, and I know the Finding Nemo. The Nemo just living this kind of things. Sorry, because I say I learning English from the Top Gear or something. So I don't know how to say about this. And yes, the first experience I learned English is from SpongeBob. So you know, the Nemo thing or SpongeBob or Patrick is the only thing I know. Okay, so when the land got the earthquake, the land just higher and higher and higher. The Nemo's house just live from the sea and become this kind of this place. And it take about 2,000 or 3,000 years to get as many as Nemo's house on this. But if you want to break it, it just take you an afternoon and you can break it. So this is in Kending. There's about a lot of people there. They go to the serving or they have dressing with their swimming suits and lying on the sand. But there's a little place like this in Kending too, so you can go there and check it out. Okay, and this one, okay, this is for fishes. That's called 鱼温. I think this is called a fishy pool because people here living here, they have fishes in there and making monies. There's a lot of fishes in Taiwan. I must say, every fish you can eat in Taiwan because Taiwan has a lot of experience like making fishes. So this a lot of things is in the west of Taiwan. There's all taking fishes in this. Okay, and this is also the Pitang, but this is not square because it's in Tainan. And you can see the people in Taiwan, they just live around this pond. There's a grave, you see the middle of the picture, there's a graveyard. And there are the field, and there's a lot of people living here. The people here was very close to their land. Okay, and next one. Okay, this is sorry. Okay, this is that computer was very naughty. Okay, the one is Kaohsiung. It's from the Kaohsiung port. There's a lot of ships. I don't know how to say the bigger ships. The bigger ships. Yes, and because Taiwan was a sea island, I must say the big sea islands. Also, we depending on a lot of things from outside. The ships in Taiwan is a lot of, and it's very important industry in Taiwan. Yes, and the Evergreen company was once the biggest ship company in the world once, but there was no as they just stuck in the Panama River, so and make everyone cannot pass. Okay, and this is a highway. There's a little story. When you come to Taiwan, I must say Taiwan's driving environment was very awful because Taiwan's people was very easy to get their driving license. So if you want to drive in Taiwan, I must say you need to be very careful. If you are from like Germany or British, I highly recommend you don't drive in Taiwan because they don't know how to take over others from the inside land. They just take over everyone, like every land. But I must say that Taiwan's highway was one very big success in engineering because my father was involved in this engineering, and at first they want to build the highway like American highway, like a 66. They just on the road. They don't want to build a bridge-like structure, and because if you're building like an American highway, it takes $1, and you're building this kind of bridge-like structure, it takes you $2. So the government originally he think we just build like an American highway, but my father's superior officer, he said, no, we cannot do this. And he is now our foundation's chairman. And he says, because if you're building a highway, you will kill the animals and people want to crossing the road. So we need to build a bridge-like structure. And when he building, he take a lot of new tech from American. So when he built all the highways, we we say the road highway is like a $1, but the bridge structure like highway, it only takes $0.7. It's even cheaper than you're building the American like highway. That's really amazing things, I think. So, but still, I don't recommend you guys driving or using the motorcycles in Taiwan because I'm driving daily and I hate all the drivers on the road. Okay, and this is like TSMC's chips, like a chips, but it's also have a fishes. It's a pool for fish, and the fish industry is take a lot of GDP in Taiwan because we can have every the fishes from river, the fishes from the sea, we can always give on the land and giving a pool. So there's a lot of seafood restaurant in Taiwan. I highly recommend it because I have been to British for 2 or 3 times, and I eat some, the mussels, the little shell in black, and the mussels and let's say they come from France, from France to British, and it takes a lot of money. But we also have Taiwan mussels in here. It only takes 600 NT dollars a pot. You can eat to death for 600. So there's a lot of delicious seafood in Taiwan. And this is called the 月世界. It's like the moon-like world. It just looks like a moon. And because let's not doing this by people breaking the mountains. They just originally like this. But Taiwanese people were so hardworking. So when you see the up about this picture, there's a little green place there. There's a pool for fish, and there's a fruit trees there. So I think the NASA just need to hire the Taiwanese people to the moon, and we can have fish pools and fruit trees on moon, because it's there's every place you can see Taiwanese people get the fruit trees or what fish pools there. Okay, and there's a tragedy in 2008. It's called the Monarch Typhoon. So if you see this is not land. There's a trees, woods. Okay, I say woods from the mountain, because the typhoon, extremely breaking our mountains. So the tree just flowing with the river and down to the side. It looks like a big land, but no. There's a white thing on the picture. There are little house, so you know how many woods are there. So because Taiwan have a lot of expensive woods and trees in Taiwan's mountain, so there's still a few people going to cut the wood and selling out of the Taiwan. So if you have been to Japan has a beautiful called Jinja. There's a little red thing, the wood red thing, like a door on the front of their temple. There's a lot of trees. It's from Taiwan, because Taiwan was once the colony of Japan. And this is another side of the woods. Okay, so this is the place that after typhoon. And this place make my father want to take a Beyond Beauty, the movie, because he thinks people need to know what's happened. So this is like, so Taiwan's mountain was too high. So if there's a if there's a typhoon or something, I highly recommend you guys don't go into the mountains if there's a typhoon, because it's very dangerous. Okay, this is called Dajianshan. It's a square mountain, called Square Mountain in Kending. Well, maybe next time you guys go to Kending, you just it's not only have some beautiful bikini girls on the beaches. There's a beautiful mountains just in Kending. Yes. And this is, I think, the most beautiful picture in Kending. So, you know, the down is, I say the Nemo's house and getting out of the waters. And I think this is very beautiful. And then Kending, and the beaches part is the people, most people go to Kending, they will go to this beach. But I think there's a lot of beautiful environment views for you guys. Okay. So this, in the first sight, I don't know what you think, but this is graveyard. It's a graveyard in Xiaoliuqiu. Xiaoliuqiu is a little island beside Taiwan's main island. And this all the funeral, not a funeral, it's a graveyard. It's all the graveyards. So it's a very colorful because Taiwan's people are very, the senior Taiwan's people, they take a lot of effort on the on every year. Once a year, they will go to their graveyard and give the place some food, wine for the dead people, their dead peoples. So there's a lot of graveyard in there. Okay. And this is the one of the thing in my father's movie. That's a really big feat. They are cutting this feet by the local farmer. They are so skilled. So when we ask them to make this from their field, they say, okay, so how big you want? We say maybe this big. And we say, you need droid, you need an aerial droid to help you. They say, no, don't need it. Just use their hand and a knife, and they cut this feet on the field. So I asked him, how can you do that? And he said, I living on this field for 40 years. I can close my eyes and walk around my field and I won't fall down. I never asked him to show me because I really really care about him to fall down. But people here was very close to their place. And this is in the east of Taiwan. The east of Taiwan is a little bit difficult to go because they have no high-speed railways. And a lot of people, it's like once I go to the Texas and you're the very countryside of Texas, just like that. There's a few people, a lot of field and there. But okay, so this is from the upper side to watch, and it's called the Huadong Zhonggu. Okay? Because there are two mountains in the east side. They're mountains. Okay? And this place was in the middle of two mountains. It's a very beautiful place. If you come to Taiwan and you have a vacation about 1 week, just go to the east side. It's called Hualien and Taichung. Hualien means flower and lotus, and Taichung means the east side of Taiwan. Just go there. It's very beautiful, and a lot of foreigner friends, they come here. And one of my friends, I know him there. He's from South Africa. And he come to Taiwan about 10 years. He just live here because he think this life is he like the lifestyle there. Their people are living very slowly and very comfortable. Okay, and this is also the east side of Taiwan. It's called the Hualien. It's called the Sea Mountain, 海岸山脉, Sea Mountains. And I think this is very beautiful. There's a river in Taidong. It looks like a tree, but it's a river. It's a river. So the downside of the picture, the beaches, they're not sand. They're little round rocks. They're very beautiful. If you've been to Japan and they have a garden, their garden have a lot of little rocks on it. It's from here. There's a lot of rocks. Actually, it's from Taiwan. My mother was Hualien, living and grew up in Hualien. He said they always, when she was young, he always take the stones to the Japanese and get some money. Okay. And this is in Taidong. It's called the ladder, the ladder farm, the ladder field, because the field looks like a ladder. You can walk on it, and it's very beautiful. I highly recommend you go there. Okay. So this is the same. It's in Taidong, but you can see there's a mountain between the middle of picture and the seaside. Oh, this is okay. This is Jiaminghu. It's a high mountain lake. Oh, the lake. Yes. So you can go to mountain climbing and camping beside the lake, but please don't swimming in that lake. There's already 2 people swimming in it and never come out. So just watch it and take a picture and don't go in. We still not find that 2 people in the lake. So just don't touch it and just watch it and take a picture. And this is the sad situation again. There's because Taiwan's mountain was very had a lot of mining resource. Some company just digging on the mountain and make it concrete to sell out of Taiwan, and that's very a sad story. So, and this is the Nanhui Road. Or in the you can take here from Taidong to Kaohsiung. Okay, there is a beautiful seaside, and this is on Penghu. You know, I showed this picture to my students, and they say, "Oh, this is like a Minecraft." Yes, yes, this is like a Minecraft. Okay, so this is a rock after the volcano explodes, and it become this the black rocks in the Penghu. And if you want to have a lot of traditional buildings, you are in you are very interesting in architecture, you can go to Jinmen. Jinmen was the front line when the Taiwan's people were fighting with the mainland China, and the Jinmen was the the front line. And let's still keep a lot of traditional buildings there, and there has a very famous things in Jinmen is a knife, your cutting knife, because in the 1954 there's a battles between Jinmen and China. They shooting about 3,000 pounds, 3,000 missiles to China, and China also sees fire like 5,000 missiles here. So there's a lot of missiles, you know, the iron stealing parts on this, and they made the missiles stealing part become the knife, the cutting knife. You can buy one and you can cut your beef or carrot. Okay, so this is you take around the Taiwan, and finally I have a little videos want to show you. Okay, this is my father filming for the our foreigner department to show people how beautiful Taiwan is. Wait a second. This is 浊水溪, dirty water river. Okay, this is Jiaming Lake. It's a turtle island. This is called the Holy Lines. I say the wine barrel mountain. This is Terraco. It's a Salmon Lake. And the stairs. And the 清水断崖, the 清水 cliff. The Turtle Island. It's a cotton field. It's in Penghu. My father called this a Lamborghini. And this is a salt field. And it's the teas trees. It's our temple festival for Maju. It's Kending. It's a leather field in the Kaohsiung port. It's Taichung. It's Kending. It's Yilan. Oh, this is Taipei. Taipei doing the marathon activity. It's Kaohsiung. Yeah, this is Taipei. It's Taipei 101. This is Taiwan is welcoming you. Okay. Sorry for delay, you guys, about 1 minute. So this is today's sharing and presentation. I hope you guys love it and welcome you guys come to Taiwan. Yes, thank you. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chi, for the wonderful photos and amazing videos. I think the photos are telling us the importance of cherishing our living environment and also the beautiful nature. So thank you again for the wonderful sharing. Thank you. And I want to express my appreciation to all the audience. Although this forum is online, this is our first time for the big gathering, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon in person. Okay, so have a good day, ETFs, and have good night, ETAs. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I have a quick question because everybody's gone. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes. Would Mr. Chi be willing to share his contact information?
Yeah, I think I contacted him, so I will probably ask him whether it's okay to share his email or something to
Okay.
you.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
so I will share
Thank
with
you
you
so
later.
much. Yeah, wonderful. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, bye.